What is up guys, Taiki here. Today I'll be going over the farms that I'll be in for the next week or so, as well as exploring the farms that I'll be going into in the next couple of weeks. If you like the content, please like and subscribe and leave a comment in the comment section below. So let's get started. Alright, so in my most recent video about the best Polygon and Matic yield farms for the month of July, I mentioned that I'm just going to wait for everything to launch and then compare the APRs, APYs, and then deploy my capital where I see fit. And I mentioned that I'm only going to be participating in safe farms because, I'm going on vacation on the 3rd. So I don't want to deal with, I'm going to Hawaii. I don't want to deal with like looking at charts, dealing with impermanent loss, dealing with potential rugs. So, you got to be humble. You can't always go for the best yields depending on the life situation that you're in, depending on life events coming up. You can adjust your farming strategy, right? That's part of being a humble yield farmer. And that's the main purpose of the channel. Remain humble. And so when I made that video, I had essentially all my capital deployed in AAVE, just for the flexibility of like borrowing against it, providing liquidity and whatnot. But as you can see, I kind of just took off all my Bitcoin, all my stable coins, and just putting like whatever Matic I farmed in here, right? It's not really generating anything, but it is what it is. So for my Bitcoin, I decided to put it in Curve, right? In this REM Bitcoin pool. Generating roughly 2% plus 6 plus 10, so roughly 70% APY. I expect this to go down, right? The base APY and these rewards to go down just because this is such a good farm, and I expect more and more people to port their funds over to here. I also think this AAVE crypto pool is pretty underrated. I mean, I feel like people don't like this just because there's impermanent loss risk. I go over this on my June 11th video where I talked about AAVE crypto. It's essentially, so when you're entering AAVE crypto, you're essentially providing liquidity in 3 assets like this, right? 33% weighting in each, and you are exposed to impermanent loss. So let's say if Bitcoin goes up 10% and ETH goes up 20%, well then there's 0.28% impermanent loss, which is like kind of nothing, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And when you're earning this much in rewards, then like what's the big deal? So I think if I wasn't going on vacation, I would deploy it here, but just because I just don't want any headaches, just because I'm not going to be like interacting with my capital, I'm just going to be humble, remain humble, and just put it in REM Bitcoin. It's okay to underperform sometimes, right? So that's where I'm parking my stablecoins, and I'll provide a link to this tool in the description below. So where am I putting my stablecoins? Well, I mentioned that I am excited for Kyber, right? The Rainmaker liquidity mining program, $5.5 million in the next 2 months. So the APY, APR should be pretty high. So I was excited for it, but it turns out that, the stablecoin pool, it's yielding 11% and 14%, which, I mean, obviously that's good, right? I mean, compare that to a bank, it's really, really good. But, I expected it to be higher. And there were like some UI, UX issues. The Kyber team, they're not like that good at communicating like what the hell's going on, so I don't want to deal with it. So sorry Kyber, not going to be deploying my capital with you. So I'm just going to stick with DFYN, right? I participated in round two of yield farming, and now this is round 3. And 45% APR on stablecoins, it's pretty good. And there's other farms as well. There's a bunch of stablecoin farms, and you can compare the APRs for USDT, USDC, you get the point. But, I'm totally fine parking it here. People have asked me like, hey, isn't this risky? Like it's not like a blue chip project. Yes, but, I've done my research and I have reasons to believe that I think this is safe. But always do your own research, right? Like if I get rugged, there's no one else to blame but myself. So, I've been farming roughly 270 of this. Feels pretty good. And, at roughly 12 DFYN a day, I'll go on vacation for 5 days, so I'll come home to like 60 DFYN tokens, right? My capital's working for me. It's gotta be humble, stack some coins. Also, yeah, I guess that's just like a general overview. Nothing too exciting, nothing's changed, but just updating you guys on what I'm doing. But if you wanna, I guess, explore more options, then yeah, check out my video on the best Polygon and Matic yield farms for July 2021. And also, Curve is also on Fantom, right? This is ftm.curve.fi. And, these yields are also really good. So for the Bitcoin pair, you can earn roughly 28%. And for stablecoins, you can earn roughly 25%. And obviously, it is a pain in the ass to kind of bridge your funds over to Fantom. But in return, if you're willing to go through those hoops, you can earn pretty good APYs. Yeah, just it's hard. I mean, it's just harder to deploy capital on different blockchains. It's because going through bridges, paying gas fees, it's a hassle. But if you already have funds deployed on Fantom, then this is pretty good as well. So that being said, I'll be in this farm, I'll be in Curve and DFYN for the next week or so, right? Until I get back from vacation. And when I get back, I'll be diversifying my funds from Polygon to most likely Terra, the Terra ecosystem. So on Sunday, I'll be releasing a collab video that I did with Terra Bytes. I think they're one of the best YouTube channels covering the Terra ecosystem. And to be frank, I think Terra has one of the best farms right now. I'm currently not in them just because I just don't want to enter this new thing while I'm on vacation. But on Anchor is like a savings protocol which targets a 20% fixed rate on dollars. Right now it's at 19.5. It's oscillated between 17 to 22%, but this is really good, right? You park your dollars here and earn fees, or just earn rewards. And the cool thing about Anchor is that remember in the month of May we were all spoiled by AAVE paying us to borrow, essentially paying us to borrow and lend, right? Well, on Anchor, the same is happening, where if you borrow dollars, you'll pay 15% interest rate, but the Anchor protocol will reward you with 157% paid in Anchor token. So if you borrow, you're essentially getting paid to borrow, right? With much higher fees. There is risk, obviously. The thing with Anchor is that right now you can only use Luna as collateral, and the price of Luna is really volatile, or it could be volatile. During May, it went from $22 to $5. So there is liquidation risk, so you can't be too aggressive in borrowing and lending. But you know what? I'll definitely be participating in the Terra ecosystem in the future, so look out for that video on Sunday, as well as Mirror. So I think this is the most extravagant farm that I see. Is if you don't understand what Mirror is, it's essentially a synthetic asset protocol, where you don't have to be an American to buy U.S. stocks and whatnot, right? Because American stocks, I mean, they're one of the best wealth generators in the world, but only Americans have access to it. So these synthetic asset protocols like Mirror, they allow people outside of the US, in Asia and other countries, to gain exposure to the price of these stocks. And as you can see, there's this thing called long and short farming. I'm not going to go over it in too much detail because there's a video coming out on Sunday where essentially you can get paid to long and short. So let's just focus on Tesla, just because everyone loves Tesla. If you provide liquidity out for Tesla, so let's say, if you provide liquidity for Tesla, you get 41% paid in transaction fees and in Mirror tokens. But if you short Tesla, you get paid 56%. So what you can do is you can long $1,000 worth of Tesla and short $1,000 worth of Tesla. So that essentially, it doesn't matter if the price goes up or down, because you're delta neutral, right? Because you're short and long the same ratio. But you'll be capturing this 41% plus 56%, which is roughly 97%, which I think is pretty cool. So video is coming up where we'll go over all the risks and how to do this. But I think everyone should keep an eye out on other ecosystems. I know I made a name for myself just going ham on Polygon, but hey, you can't be a Polygon maxi. You got to be a yield maxi. You got to go where the yield is. Got to go where the highest yield is on a risk-adjusted basis, right? You can't just go to 1,000,000% APY because there's so much risk involved. But according to my research, Mirror, Anchor, Luna, I think is a pretty safe place to park your capital. I know a bunch of funds that are farming this a crazy amount, and I think I'm gonna have Do Kwon on my channel, who's the founder of Terra. So I really like what they're doing. I like that Terra, there's actually real world use cases for the blockchain, right? Because a bunch of if you think about Ethereum and Polygon, I guess outside of NFTs, it only targets people within the ecosystem. But Terra actually has real world use cases where over 2.5 million Koreans are using Terra, or is using their stablecoin to, transact on their mobile application. So that's a brief overview. Going on vacation, so I'll be more quiet. I have a few videos pre-recorded where I'll be releasing it to you over time, but just gotta remain humble, and depending on your life situation, deploy different strategies, right? Because that's the point of farming. things come up, life events come up. We can't just be in front of our screens all the time. And in those instances, it's okay to go risk off, right? It's okay to underperform, I guess, the more degens for a week or so. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good one, and have fun farming.